Just wanted you to get a good shot of the board at the beginning that you can copy from if you need to. But I want to go over all of this with you. This is your guide to doing revisions for your research paper. Excuse me. Okay, so revisions and final draft. You have two big things up here I want you to pay attention to. This is worth 10 points, and that 10 points is 1/3 of your exam grade. Remember, we went over in the packet where it says that your exam grade consists of your bibliography, 5 points, your revisions, 10 points, and your final draft, 15 points. Now, just like on your other writing assignments, this paper will be graded by the same standards as I'm showing you on the revisions guide here. And then you can see exactly where I might take off points if you look at the very end of the packet that's published under the section called Q4 research paper. Toward the bottom of that, it says video and document. Some people have had trouble finding that, but that's where it is. And it says here that we need to mark revisions, just like in any other writing assignment, mark revisions on your intro, body, and conclusion. When I say mark revisions, okay, it doesn't mean to rewrite your paper and then put numbers in places where maybe you change things. I am not going to print everybody's rough draft and final draft out, compare them, and try to decide where you put your changes. You need to show me where you put your changes. And the way to do that, as with all of your other writing assignments, is to have your rough draft and to somehow show the change that you made. The way that's the easiest for me to see is if you physically print out your rough draft and physically mark on your rough draft number 2, for example, if you're breaking up a paragraph that's too long, you can put a number 2 there and some kind of indication that you're going to break up like a line like this that shows you're going to break the paragraph there, or if you remember what the paragraph symbol is, or you could just write new paragraph and put a 2. So all of that you should know already, because this is the 7th or 8th writing assignment that we've had this year, and you had some last year too where we did the same thing. Show the change. That's what I'm telling you. Show the change. Excuse me, just a second, I'm gonna sneeze. I don't know what I'm sneezing about. For full credit, mark at least 10 things that correspond to at least 5 of the items below. So there are 7 items here. You may only be able to find 5 of those 7 items, or you might be able to find all 7. But, so like for example, if you can't find anything for number 3, then you may mark 2 number 6s or 2 number 5s. And normally in your writing assignments, you have to find 5 things, but now I'm telling you to find 10 things. So maybe you found 2 idea things, 2 organization things, no voice things, 1 word choice thing. So that's 2, 4, 5 so far. 2 sentence fluency things, that's 7 so far. 2 convention things, that's 9 so far, and 1 thing where you needed to add something in documentation that makes 10. That's an example. Okay, you may need to change more things than that. Probably you do. Most people, myself included, make mistakes when they write. James Joyce, a famous author, once said, "There are no good writers, only good editors." And I believe I've quoted that before. What that means is that everybody makes mistakes when they write. Okay. Number 1, ideas. Did you cover everything in your outline? I will probably look at your outline and say, they said they were going to talk about the flora and fauna in this place, but they didn't. So that would be a -1 on ideas. Will this be at least 2 pages in length? That's usually, with the regular fonts that I told you in the packet, that would be about 15 words per typed line, more or less, and about 24 lines per page, depending on whether you skip lines between paragraphs or not, which is, I'm going to say, is okay. I've tried to teach you how to do a different way of showing paragraphs, but most people have not paid attention to that. If not, add more details and put a 1 by what you added. So ideas has to do with adding details. If you already have enough and you covered everything in your outline, maybe that's not one of the ones that you need to do. Number 2, organization. Is there a paragraph for each section of your outline? Again, looking at your outline. Did you break up a paragraph that will be more than 12 lines long? So if you did all the sections, but maybe one of your paragraph is an entire page long, that's too long for a paragraph. We need to have some break. So where would be a natural place to break that? You can mark that change with a 2. Or maybe you forgot one of the paragraphs that you planned to write. So you need to add that paragraph, and that would be a 2. Number 3, voice. Is this paragraph, not paragraph, but essay, is this your own best formal writing? Eliminate all forms of the word you. That's you, your, yourself. Okay, yours. Eliminate all forms of you. Now, when I say eliminate all forms of you, what I mean is you should not be addressing the reader directly, and you should not be using the word you as an indefinite pronoun. So if you were writing about, and I am addressing you, if you were writing about Utila, for example, I don't think anyone is, but if you were writing about Utila, then you could say, there are many things you can do on Utila. Well, in that case, you use the word you as an indefinite pronoun. And some people, when I say eliminate all forms of the word you, they just cross out the word you. And so it reads, there are many things can do on Utila. But that sentence no longer makes sense. So when I say eliminate all forms of the word you, I don't just mean cross it off. I mean figure out another way to say it. There are many attractions that visitors can find on Utila. There are many parties and events that take place on the beaches of Utila. So use some other thing besides the word you. If all else fails, you can say everyone or we instead of you. Eliminate numerals lower than 13. Again, I don't want you to just cross out the number. What I want you to do is, if you wrote 12, 1, 2, then cross it out and put TWELVE, 12. Eliminate all quotations except a maximum of 2. So what you need to do is write things in your own words, paraphrase. So some people tend to just want to quote everything. The only things that should really be quoted, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, are things written by people who are experts, that you can say, Jacques Cousteau said blah blah blah. Well, Jacques Cousteau was an expert on ocean life. So if you wanted to quote someone that's an expert like that, great, you can quote that. Do not quote anything from Wikipedia. You can paraphrase it, but you don't quote it. Now, when I say quote, I mean say the exact words and put quotation marks around it. If you say the exact words and do not put quotation marks around it, if you say anyone's exact words from a book or website and you don't put quotation marks around it, that is plagiarism. Especially plagiarism if you don't put any indication of where you got the information or the wording. So beware of plagiarism. I have information about plagiarism and how to avoid it in your packet. I've already gone over that. I don't want to go over it again right now, so this video isn't terribly long. Okay, so we're already at 10 minutes, so I want to get things moving here. So voice. Any of those changes you can mark with a 3. Number 4, word choice. Check your English usage. For example, did you put the right word? Should it be the word on instead of the word in, for example? Did you use an apostrophe S for possessive instead of using of? So like, for example, the glove of Michael Jackson. Probably we want to say Michael Jackson's glove, okay, with apostrophe S, that kind of thing. Use action verbs when possible. Okay, so another way you can make a correction or a change on word choice would be, say, for example, there are 3 volcanoes on the island. So the word are is the verb. It is not an action verb. If we can try to use an action verb there, that would mean rewording the sentence. 3 volcanoes serve as wonderful attractions on this island. So the word serve is an action verb. Something like that. Would it count as a word choice change if your English usage is fine? That's another thing you can do. Number 5, sentence fluency. Eliminate run-on sentences. Eliminate fragments. The most common thing is to say something like this. Everyone would love to visit the beaches on Utila are interesting. Okay, that's a compound sentence. I'm imagining there's a semicolon before the word are, and that second part is a fragment because the word are needs a subject. That's the most common way that people make fragments. Break up super long sentences. I forgot to put the word super. Some sentences are long, but if your sentence is 4 lines long, then it's too long, You need to make it into 2 or 3 sentences. When I say 4 lines long, I mean typed. Number 6, conventions. Check grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. This is the thing almost everyone does when doing when doing revisions, okay? If you'll notice, that's only one of these 7 things that you should be looking at. You should be looking at all of these things and seeing if there's something that you can change to make your paper better. But yes, do these things. Some people randomly put capital letters. Don't do that. Only put capital letters where capital letters go. Number 7, documentation. So I have the 6 usual things, and then I added one more thing. Documentation. Each paragraph should have at least one in-text citation corresponding to your resources. Okay, so what that means is as I'm reading your paper and I get to Roman numeral 2 in your outline and you say everything you want to say, but you don't have anything in parentheses showing where you got the information, you need to have something, okay? So if you got that information from an article by somebody named William Laerty, then you need to put his last name in parentheses. If there is no author's name, you can use the title of the article or a shortened version of the title, but you need to make sure that you don't have 2 that are exactly the same. So if I were writing about the Alamo and I had 2 articles called The Alamo and neither one had an author showing, then the other one could be a well-known repository of information such as Wikipedia or National Geographic, and you could put that for one of them. As a matter of fact, if you have National Geographic or Wikipedia or Encyclopedia Britannica or something else that's an extremely well-known information resource, then you can put the name of the website in parentheses like that. That's fine. And these should be corresponding to your resources. So you should use at least 2 resources. So if I'm reading your paper and every parentheses says Laerty in it, then I know that you did not use your other resource. So you need to use at least 2 resources. I gave you the assignment of doing a research page with 2 resources and 15 notes. Some people, in order to get to 15 notes, needed to find more than 2 resources. That's great. You should use the resources that you took notes from in that assignment. If you use some other resource, then you need to make sure you have the resource information for that. So for example, you're writing along and you realize that in your research page, you didn't have any information about the flora and fauna of Utila, for example. And that was one of the things in your outline. I need to put that. So you go back and you find something from another website. Then you need to put in parentheses something that indicates where you got it. And then when we do the works cited page, you need to include that as well as the 2 or 3 things that you have on your research page. If you have any questions about any of this while you are trying to do it, specific questions, ask me. Don't just write me a general, I don't understand, because what that means to me is that you didn't watch the video or you didn't even try to understand. And that is not acceptable. You are responsible for learning. I am responsible for providing resources for you to learn. You have a packet. You have a video at the beginning about showing how to get through the packet and the things in it. You have this. You have another video from another section. You have several things. So go ahead and use the resources. And if you still don't understand something, Miss, I don't know what you mean by in-text citation. And I'll be like, okay, remember how in the video on Rough Draft, I showed you an example of a paragraph with things in parentheses, okay? Something like that. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. Or you'll be like, no, I don't remember. What that means to me is you didn't watch the video. When I do videos, it is not because I like doing videos. As a matter of fact, when we first started, I did not want to do videos because I don't like how I look on videos. And I feel nervous, okay? But I don't do them for fun. I do them to help you, to teach you, and to help you understand. So that is the end of my sermon. Thank you for coming, the end of my TED Talk, or whatever you want to call it, and happy working.